Welcome back to Melodic Memories of Light's Monarch. I'm Casey, and today I wanted to talk about moving because it is one of my least favorite things that one has to do in life, but it is necessary for lots of people to do throughout their entire life. Now, I've kind of moved my entire life. I've never stayed in one area for too long. I think the longest I stayed in one area was maybe during high school. Long story short, to kind of give the idea, set the picture, paint the picture, if you will. I moved when I was really little. My first move that I properly remember, granted, I know when I was like 3 years old, we moved in. I was with my mom, and we moved in with my stepdad. And the only reason I remember that, not because actual memory, but more so just for the simple fact that I have photos of my third birthday in this man's house. And this man is now my stepdad, has been for, since then, really. They didn't get married too quick. It was a while, and some people, they just take forever to get married, and that's fine, especially if you've been through it once before, as both my mom and my stepdad have. We moved there when I was 3, and then I think after that, we moved into another place that was actually by my grandparents. May they both rest in peace. That same place, I haven't seen that place in forever. Somewhere I'm going to have to check out. They don't live there anymore. They have both passed away. But it was literally connected to their yard. You walked through the trees, and there was their house. It was definitely a way to grow up, and I don't know how many people can say that they had that, especially with it being on a farm. So, since I grew up, I've been on a farm. Aside from being an adult, of course, I moved into the city, which I don't know if I'm still deciding whether or not I like the city more, which I think I like being close to civilization more than being out in the boonies, but it was a time, it grew me into the person I am today, and it was a place that we stayed probably until I was about maybe 9, because we ended up moving again. Stayed up in Worsley. For those that don't know, this place is tiny. It is a hamlet. You can stand on the entrance of this hamlet and look off in the distance, and you can see the end of town. It is the smallest place I've ever probably been. At least definitely lived. Then we moved again to high school, and that's where we kind of stayed in Hines Creek for my high school years, rather. And I think that would have been the longest time I stayed still, because after that, once I graduated, I moved again, and then moved again. Ever since I've been living here, I think I've moved like every single year except for one. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is I'm complaining about having to move, and it is not exciting. I'm not excited to move. I hope it goes well. I don't really know why I'm rambling about this. I guess I just kind of wanted to vent, and anyone out there that knows how much moving actually sucks, vent along with me, please. Let me not feel so alone, because I actually hate it, and it is one of my least favorite things. But to stop being such a pessimist, I will have to say I am excited for one fact and one fact only. And that in itself is that it is a new place. And I know I just said that was the downside, but it's exciting in its own right, if you look at it from a certain angle. So this new place, it isn't anything special, but it's going to lead to greater things, as less rent, more opportunity for me to be able to pay off this debt that I've been talking about here and there over this podcast run. And then hopefully moving to a bigger city, and that in hopes of Edmonton. And I know I mentioned it last episode too, but that's kind of where I'm thinking. That's where my mind's at right now. And I just want the opportunity, as I know I'm doing this. I've got my podcast, as you all are listening, and this might be a little meta to get into here, but I would kind of like to make this, if not the podcast grow itself, then go into broadcasting and see what I can improve on, see if I can't get into radio and have this just as my side thing for people that want to listen. I know this podcast isn't for everybody, and I jump around topic to topic, but that's the point. It's me. Through and through, it is me and what I feel, what I think, and the music, most importantly, that I love and have loved over the years. And it's just something that honestly reminds me that I'm human, that I have emotion, that I feel, that I am who I am, and that I worked so hard to get to where I am internally for my own emotional sake and emotional, I guess, sanity and security. it's something that I never thought I would be this far along. It makes me feel like I'm very old, but some would say old or wise, either or. It just, I'm excited for the future and what it may hold. Nervous, but excited because, again, with the state of the world, it's been a little iffy. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, and I don't think anybody does. I don't think anyone can know what's going to happen because that's the point. Life in itself is unpredictable. And with everything going on, it makes it that much more unpredictable. So, all in all, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm excited for the chance, the opportunity. I just have to actually reach out and grab it. So, wish me luck on my endeavors whenever I get to them. And I know I'm not going too in depth on anything, but that's, again, just for my own privacy and security. But honestly, I couldn't be happier in the sense of when the move is over with, but we are not at that point yet. We've not even moved yet, and I mean, by the time you're listening to this, I believe is my moving day. So if you're listening on the Monday, one, you're a real one, and two, I'm probably sweating my ass off, so feel free to laugh at my pain. All the same, some memories that I wanted to talk about just to kind of chat about something that really means a lot to me is family. My memories of my family, something brought up my memories of my grandma and how she means a lot to me. So this new album, I know I mentioned it last episode again, but it was a new album from Token, and I just re-listened to it today as I'm recording this. So if you haven't listened to it, please go give it a shot. It's called I'm Not Supposed to Be Here by Token. He's a rapper. Definitely not somebody I've listened to much before, except for what my buddy Paul, shout out to him, he's shown me a few things here and there. But Token, this new record from him, there's a song on it, and the song in particular is called What Am I Waiting For? At least I believe it is that one, I'm almost certain. He raps about his grandma and how she can't be there to see his success. She can't be there to be there for him. Like, for lack of a better term, lack of better words, sorry for not being too poetic, but it just really hit me so hard that I actually just kind of cried. It was a bit of a mess listening to it, and the first time I heard it was at Paul's place, and of course I cried then too, just as I did when I was listening to it now. And it's just, you gotta remember that these people, they are very important, and they won't be around forever. And I know that these past two episodes I've been having are a little bit more on the depressing side, but I truly don't mean to bring anybody down with me. It's just my grandma, I didn't even really think about how much she influenced me in my life, even to this day. She's the reason why I try to find the inner peace, the inner calm amongst all of the crazy chaos, because she's the one that always did that. She was the rock whenever I would need, and I do miss her every day. And that's just one grandparent, where the others all mean something to me. But my grandma in particular, she really helped me become who I am. She watched me when I was very little, and she was able to teach me things and really show me what love is. Show me how one should treat another, and shared her wisdom throughout her life with me. And honestly is a part of the reason why I love music the way I do. And I know that this can be attributed to many people in my life, not just my grandma, but one thing I was thinking a little bit about was cassettes and how they're kind of coming back into popularity just as vinyl has over the past few years. And I know CDs are even coming back into popularity too. But cassettes, now, my grandma, she ended up buying me a huge bag of cassettes. I believe we kept the ones for me in like a little lunch kit. But the cassettes, they had a bunch of musical ones, a few story-based ones, like literal Winnie the Pooh books on cassette. Wild that I remember it, but that's the point. There's these core memories of me just sitting there near the boombox, of all things, the little boombox she had, and literally just getting lost in these stories with her and listening to these songs with her. And even when she was teaching me to drive, if we want to fast forward like years before she passed. She was there to give me my first ever driving lesson, and in her car, we were driving along listening to her cassettes. There was the Monkees and I think it was Fats Domino, Ain't That a Shame, and I'm a Believer by the Monkees, I think. I know that in Shrek it's sang by Eddie Murphy, but regardless, those two cassettes, and then of course my grandpa as well loved country music, just as my mom and my stepdad did, and all these different kind of experiences just they scream in my brain of these moments that all of them weave together to make me. And it's weird to think of it in that way, but everything that we do in life, everything that someone does for us and shows us, has an impact. And it's not just your grandparents, it's not just your parents. It might be a friend, it might be, hell, the internet nowadays. Like, there's so many things that people don't think of. They just look at, glance away, and it's gone. But for a moment, it changed your life. In one way or another, if you actually listened to it, it changed your life. And I guess I'm being a little bit emotional, a little bit reminiscent because of the state of the world and because I'm moving and just how much I hate it. But I just really wanted to kind of talk about it because there's these things in life, even down to my brother. He showed me Volbeat, and I just went and seen them in concert not long ago with 3 Days Grace, and I seen them before that. And if it wasn't for him, I would have never went to that Godsmack Volbeat concert because I didn't really know Godsmack very well. Turns out that I did more so afterwards, which my brother also showed me some of his favorites when I was telling him I was going to that show, and this was back in like 2017, I want to say. So it's been a long time, and again, it's just these things, little butterfly effect things that mean something. You wouldn't have went to the place that you went if it wasn't for blank, essentially. Even down to my buddy Matthew in high school. As I said, 21 Pilots was shown to me, and he also showed me a band that's a little different, being Hollywood Undead. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of them, mind you, but I went to see Hollywood Undead recently, at least recently in the term of like last year or the year before that, with Falling in Reverse and Papa Roach. And Falling in Reverse, Papa Roach, I knew, of course. But Hollywood Undead, I would have never gotten to be able to enjoy those songs as I did seeing them live if it wasn't for that happening. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many little nuances through life that it could just be something you don't even think about. You could be walking through the grocery store and hear a song that just connects with you, and then, you know, things change after that. You follow that artist, you see what they're doing. Even if you don't, you hear it at another point and you're like, holy shit, I know this. It's so interesting how everything that kind of happens seems to happen for a reason, and that they all leave a mark on you. Like, truthfully, we as people are that crumpled up piece of paper, whether you're broken or not, in terms of just like being tattooed with these experiences, even the smallest ones that people don't even think about, in one ear out the other. Yet your subconscious knows, and you yourself are changed forever because of it. Now, I know I might be reaching a little bit, and maybe even rambling some too, but I truthfully hope that this is coming across right, because it's true. Everything happens for a reason, and even if you don't believe that, things change. Even if it's the smallest little thing, be it music or otherwise. You might see something, and then after that, you know what that is. There's no going back, and it's also kind of, in a sense, a loss of innocence. Even in the musical sense, because you heard something new that before you didn't know existed. And I think to like The Contract by 21 Pilots, which just came out, and that one was so new. Like, I know it's a new song, but the way the melody is, the way that they sing, the way that everything about the song, aside from the drums being like from Heavy Dirty Soul, it sounds something like I would have never heard before. The biggest one that I can use even more so was when I found Black Veil Brides. They honestly changed my life. And I know that this one is one of the big ones because they are my favorite band, but truthfully, sitting down and being shown Black Veil through Omegle, of all things, through Omegle. Now, I mean, mind you, I met the person through Omegle. I believe this was over Skype afterwards because I don't know if anyone remembers Kick, but added them on Kick, and then, obviously, lo and behold, they show me their favorite band, and it was Black Veil Bride's Perfect Weapon. And I watched the music video for it and just got screamed at right in my face. Completely new. Where I grew up, what I grew up with, and the area surrounding me, I never was experienced or exposed to anything like that before. And this is what I mean. Because after that, my life has been changed. I can never go back to how I was before hearing that because now I know that exists. And when I heard metal music on the radio before, just the heavy guitars, doesn't even have to be screaming, nothing else, just literally the chug of guitars, I used to be frightened. And I mean, like, this was when I was probably anywhere from like 4 to 10. And 10 might be a little bit old to be scared, but it's true. I was afraid of the loud chugs, the heavy kind of metal, if you will. Though I still grew up with Ozzy and grew up with all these other rock bands that my dad loved or that my mom did. Hell, I grew up with Silver Side Up and that had some chugs in it from Nickelback. Not saying they're metal by any means, please don't attack me. But all the same, what I'm trying to say is that, like, because of Black Veil, I wasn't afraid of that anymore. I went down the route of finding so many other bands that spoke to me and was away from my voice. Even though they weren't my words that I wrote, my voice was still heard in a way that I never thought possible before. Because before that, it was always country music or music that I was shown, and sometimes the songs would resonate to me. Hell, I remember listening to YFM and SpongeBob music and just like all the things under the sun, just as I still do, honestly. I listen to every genre, every kind of music. If it's good, it's good. But I wouldn't have gotten to the point of love that I have for music if it wasn't for this new sound that I had never heard before and didn't know existed in the world. And I know that one day, yeah, I would have been exposed to it. Certainly. There's no way you can go through life without experiencing at least one little dash of metal, no matter who you are. I'm sure that you'll hear a loud chug of a guitar so long as you have, like, even social media or the internet. Like, please. It's gonna be there in one way or another. But it's wild to really just kind of dissect it and focus on it. And it might just be me having a moment, but if anyone out there can relate, let me know. At Lights Monarch on all socials, I would love to hear it. And to be honest, it goes down to song after song, be it I Write Sins Not Tragedies, which is what I found right after Black Veil Brides, or Misery Business by Paramore when I was trying to find a Hailstorm song and discovered Paramore for myself. Like, there's so many things that happen for a reason to get you to where you need to go. Like, you think about it and it's almost like your life is planned out. And whether it is or not, granted, you make your own decisions, but everyone believes in a different thing, and because of those said beliefs or experiences or whatever you want to call it, all of these things lead us as our own individuals to our own place in life, exactly where we're meant to be in any given moment. And that in itself, I think, is beautiful. And another little side note with music, The Line by 21 Pilots, that song has resonated with me so much so that when I first heard it, nothing but tears. And to say that it sounded different, I've never heard a song like that in my life. And I've listened to a lot of music. And granted, yes, there are songs with the piano. Yes, there are songs with all these elements to it, but made in the way that that one was made. That is the beauty of art, because it is every individual's interpretation. And the way that they made it, 21 Pilots specifically, that was their output. No one else could have made that. Nobody. Same thing with anything that Black Veil makes. Anything that any artist makes, if it is if it's anything, no one will be able to replicate it 100%, and that is the point of our own individuality. It's just another thing that's beautiful about being human. And I don't mean to sound so preachy, because I'm definitely going off on a tangent here, so I'll stop. But truthfully, life is beautiful if you let it be, if you make it. And I guess the last thing I'll say for inspiration, so I don't sound like a know-it-all, is just remember that life is worth living. And if you ever forget, listen to music. Find something, if it's music, if it's art, so long as it's something creative and not harmful and not destructive, and go for it. because you, as your own individual, will make something that nobody else in this whole entire world can. Even if there are things like it, even if there are things that other people have done that might seem similar, yours is unique to you because it came from you. And that in itself is beautiful. Anyways, I will get off my high horse for a moment, change things up a little bit. I also just got my magazine. So, mind you, I might need to add a little bit of context here, but Rock Sound, they released their Blurry Face tribute album called Blurry Face Reborn, and it finally came in the mail. Holy hell! It didn't take long at all, and I'm so excited to get listening to it. I have not checked it out yet. Yes, it probably would have been smart to listen to it to talk about on here, but I do promise to talk about it next episode, no matter what the episode's about, because holy shit, I am excited. And the fact that the cover of the magazine is Blurry Face, photos from Blurry Face, mind you, from 10 years ago. And then the photo that they put in with it, if you're to buy it, came along with the CD, of course, is from modern day, from the 10-year anniversary. That is such a cool distinction to see just how much they changed and also how much they haven't, how they are still them. It's something that resonates with me a lot. I'm going to try to stay on track here, but excuse me for jumping all over the place. There's this game called Undertale, and I was shown it from Logan, my buddy, of course. Shout out to him. Love you, man. And he showed me Undertale. And for those that don't know, it's a video game. I know I've talked about it a little bit here and there, but there's one scene in particular, and it's only if you walk up to the mirror and you see your reflection. And it says at the very beginning of the game, if you interact with this mirror, that, oh, look, it's you. And then you interact with it at the very end, and it says something to the same extent of, after everything, it's still you. And that's something that's just, it has sat with me since I played the game. I was going to say it's beautiful because it is, but it's honestly so much more than that. It's very haunting because it's true. No matter what, no matter how much changes you make, no matter what you do in your life, be it good or bad, and I hope it's good things, but no matter what they are, you are still you. And that photo brought me right back to that moment because I seen them. And it's like, wow, after all these years, after all this success, after everything that they've done and been through, they are still them. And then I couldn't help but think of myself after all that I've been through. And I know that everyone has their own journey. Everyone's been through their own things. And I can never fully relate to something someone's going through because it isn't something I've been through, but I can always try. And for me personally, with my life journey, which I would hope is far from over, and to think back 10 years ago, I really thought that it was not going to be this long. I thought my journey was going to be over already. And to think 10 years down the road, I am where I am now, it's wild. It is insane that after all of this, I have long hair, I don't self-harm, I am not incredibly just sinking into this deep, dark depression that I know I have, and I hope I'm not jinxing myself here by saying that, but to be honest, I am still me. Just as you, whoever's listening to this, you are still you. There's nothing that's ever going to change that one simple fact, and it goes to what I was talking about earlier. It's just part of life, and it's beautiful. And now, mind you, tangent aside, the Blurry Face Reborn magazine, I'm excited to read it. I'm excited to hear what they have to say in reminiscing about 10 years ago and still being them, and how much life has changed. I mean, looking from the outside and seeing what they've done, it's insane. They're married. They have kids now. At least Tyler does. I can't speak for Josh. But, like, it's something that it makes me excited for what life might hold. And I know that my life isn't going to look anything like theirs. And hell, it might not look like anything I can even imagine yet. But it's going to be something. And I think that is intriguing enough to make me keep on going. At least want to for this moment that I'm recording this and saying these things. Like, I know that life is unpredictable and things can change. But as of right now, life can be good and life can be bad. And as of right now, I think I'm going to just keep pushing through. And I hope that all of you can too. Now, apart from that, I did end up watching Allegiant with Reese to follow up on that a little bit. I've finally seen all 3 Divergent movies. I know there was supposed to be a fourth. Fucking lame. Lame as shit, okay, that it ended the way it did. Can we say that for a moment, please? Because that's so lame. Like, honestly, if you're making a series about a book, make the first movie, maybe the second, and then cancel it. But if you're gonna make the first three, there's only 3 books in the series, one other one that is from the perspective of 4, which isn't a sequel or anything that continues the story. It's literally from his perspective, so it doesn't matter to make it into a movie. They could if they wanted, but what I'm trying to say, why make 3 movies when you could have just made 3 and then it be properly done, but you made 3 with the intention of making the third movie 2 parts, and then you just don't finish it. I don't care what the studio said. I don't care what the critics said about it, or even the fans. Why do that? Why? Why? Like, I want to know what the fuck happens, and I'm gonna have to read the book if I want to know what happens now, and it's like, damn it. I was actually really getting into it, and I didn't really think I would. I always just kind of heard the buzz around it of it being not great, or just like a wannabe of what the Hunger Games was, like it wishes it could be. But honestly, the story behind it is really good. It has a lot of potential, and the movies did not reach that. I will say that right now. But man, I might have to read those books. And if I do, I will go in depth on them, because the movies themselves, even with the little bit of cheese or a little bit of bad acting here and there, all in all, it was worth it and good. So I can only imagine how much better, like literally how much better the books are. Now, also, speaking of books, The Only Band in the World, which is a 21 Pilots book, I need to read that because that just recently came in as well, as I got the extended edition. Shout out to Crystal for getting me the first pressing of it, or first printing rather, as she bought me that, and then not long after he announced the extended edition, so I bought that one for myself. And now I have both. I have one to keep as like a little collector's piece, and then the extended edition I can read myself. But I'm really excited to see, again, to just kind of reminisce on memories, to see truly year after year as these are compiled from when they first started as a band, mind you, like Vessel years. So first got signed rather, so Vessel years. I would have to say that it will give me even more insight to see how much they grew and maybe be a little bit of an inspiration even, just as they already are. And now, especially that I've gotten 21 Pilots tickets, yes, I was able to secure them. Woo! I was able to secure 21 Pilots tickets. We're fucking going. Me, Noah, and Crystal. Hell yes. But I want to say, I have to read this before I go see them, no? I gotta know, not only The Only Band in the World, but I also need to reread the Clancy Journal to really get ready for this story, the ending of the story that's coming in September. I am so excited. And last but not least, I need to say here, Reese, she was so sweet and just kind, so nice to make me a Clancy hat. A clat, if you will, a cla hat. I don't know what you want to call it, but a Clancy hat. The ski mask that he pulls over his head, the one that looks kind of like a cat, she made me that. It isn't the full mask, mind you, but it is a toque version of it. And that is something that I never thought I would have, unless if I ordered it from like Etsy or something, because God, I am not creative. I might be able to write. I can write poetry. I can kind of use my words if I really put thought into it. But to use my hands to create something like that, because she crocheted it, something that I could only dream of doing. And I just needed to shout you out, Reese, right now, because holy hell, thank you. It was completely unprompted. It wasn't asked for, but it is so appreciated. And honestly, I'm just, I cannot wait to be able to wear it. And if people ask about it, I can tell them that it's from you. The fact that it looks the way it does, like it literally is spitting image. I will post a photo of it, hands down, and tag you in it because it looks great. And this isn't the only thing you've made for me. I know you made me a red cardigan, red as in Red Taylor's version. And also the whole blanket, the black veil blanket. I should honestly post photos of all of these because they're amazing. And the fact that you're able to create something with your own 2 hands is insane. And to everyone out there that can, props to you, because I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. And I know there's people on the other side of the spectrum, like myself, we're good with our words. And I mean, to be able to do both, I can't even imagine. So, rambles aside, thank you, Reese, for the Clancy hat. And I cannot wait to wear it to the Breach Tour. It's going to be insane. And to anybody that's listening that is going to see the Breach Tour, specifically in Toronto, my Toronto peeps, come on, hit me up at Lights Monarch on all of my socials. I will be there, and I cannot wait. Thank you so much for listening to my rambles today, and thank you for discovering the music within.